好，那么我们下午的场次就正式开始。这一场的时间到3点30分，我们还是准时结束。中间休息30分钟之后，4点钟由郭伟达长老来回应Cousins 教授现在要宣读的这篇论文。
Working, yes. Good afternoon. Here we are again. So I have another paper that Kim Tong asked me to do here. So I put in, this is a sutra on mindfulness with in and out breathing. And then I put in, added, this is not in your text, a preparatory note. Since this is a conference on Abhidhamma, I would like to make 2 preliminary points. Firstly, the approach offered here is based on Sutanta, not Abhidhamma. Secondly, it assumes a view of the history of Abhidhamma which may not be shared by all of you, or any of you. That is the view that is now normal in scholarship, that the Abhidhamma developed later than the Sutanta teachings. I do not share the views that place it very late, but I do not think it was taught initially. I understand that even in traditional terms, the Buddha did not teach Abhidhamma for the first 7 years after his awakening. I believe he taught breathing mindfulness from the very beginning.
这一段是因为没有在我们的手册上，是他新加的，就是他先有一个很简单的序言，就是说既然呢这是一个阿毗达摩的这个研讨会呢，所以要做2点的一个前言的那个声明。第一点呢就是这一篇论文所采用的方法呢是就是根据苏丹党经典，而非阿毗达摩，所以这是要特别声明的。第二点呢就是那一般上呢对阿毗达摩的历史呢有一些这样的有一定的看法，但是他不见得会那么采用那样的看法。什么看法呢？就是一般上的学术界目前认为呢，阿毗达摩是比经的教法来得晚，发展来得晚。不过呢，这个他不见得是采用这样子的说法，所以呢，也许跟在座的诸位的看法不太一样。那不过他认为说，这个阿毗达摩呢，不见得是佛陀一开始就教的。那甚至呢，即使在传统的佛教里面呢，佛陀也并没有在他的前7年来教导这个，在开悟之后的觉悟之后的这个前7年来教导阿毗达摩。好，那但是他相信说，这个对于今天所要谈的念处，那个安波念，对不起，安波念呢，他认为呢是一开始佛陀就开始教了，所以他特别做这2点的说明。那其他的就会根据论文。
The oldest texts refer to a number of subjects of meditation. In this paper, I examine one specific method of meditation, meditation on the breath, and especially one particular source for this method, the canonical Anapanasati Sutta, or Discourse on Mindfulness with In and Out Breathing. Within that discourse, we find set out a sequence of 16 stages of development. I try to show how I think this was originally understood and how it developed under the influence of the formulation of Abhidharma. Note the spelling. So the 16 stages. In fact, the 16 stages are not only found here. Within the Pali Canon, we find them included in another Majjhima Nikaya discourse, in a discourse in the Anguttara Nikaya, as well as in the 20 discourses collected into the Anapana Samyutta. A detailed commentary on them is included in the Patisambhidamagga. They're also given in a story included in the Mahavagga of the Vinaya Pitaka. parallels are similarly preserved in many sources available in Chinese and a few surviving Sanskrit versions. The first 4 stages are also found in versions of the Satipatthana Sutta, but it is likely that in that context they have been extracted from the earlier use of 16. The final 12 stages would not fit comfortably into the analysis given in the Satipatthana Sutta. Florindaliano comments, the 16 bases represent a very old technique, dating back most probably to the earliest days of Buddhism. This seems very likely, as they show every sign of being an oral mnemonic, composed in the early stages of teaching the method. At the time of the Buddha, when writing was as yet unknown in Eastern India, or at least not utilized for religious purposes, the creation of such a list for memorization must have been the equivalent of today's authoring a book. There are some variations in the list of 16 in the non-Pali sources. These will be referred to later, but the general pattern is rather consistent. The 16 stages are invariably preceded by a formula specifying how and where one should prepare to meditate. In this teaching, monks, or sometimes it's another addressee, a monk goes to the forest or the root of a tree or an empty house and sits. He adopts a cross-legged posture, setting his body erect and establishing mindfulness in front. The details of the position of the legs are not specified in any canonical source, although we may suspect that something like the well-known lotus posture is intended. 2 late canonical texts do, however, specify what is meant by establishing mindfulness in front or around the face. According to them, it means either on the nose tip or on the appearance of the face. This suggests that breathing mindfulness is specifically envisaged in this formula, and indeed in the canonical literature it seems to occur only before the 16 stages, or before the overcoming of the 5 hindrances, or before the formulae for the 4 jhanas. That would seem to imply that the normal method envisaged for developing the jhanas is breathing mindfulness. In line with this is the emphasis in Buddhist tradition on the central role of breathing mindfulness in the awakening of all Buddhas. Immediately prior to enumerating the 16 stages, the sutta texts all have a single sentence which states, "Mindful he breathes in, mindful he breathes out." The first occurrence of the word translated as mindful is emphasized with the particle wa, so I have bold-faced it in translation. This sentence is erroneously interpreted by some as an initial stage in which one is not aware of or does not pay attention to the length of the breath. That seems to be a misunderstanding of the Pali, which rather gives a general description of breathing mindfulness and then lists the 16 ways in which it is developed. This is also clear from the way in which breathing mindfulness is referred to in many later sources as 16-fold. It is probably simply a transmission error when this is listed at the start as if it is a part of the stages, as in a few non-Pali sources. Significantly, there does not appear to be anywhere in the canonical literature where meditation on the normal breath is recommended. Rather, it should always be made long or short. So the first tetrad. The first 4 stages on the screen are either while breathing in long he understands I am breathing in long, or while breathing out long he understands I am breathing out long. Either while breathing in short he understands I'm breathing in short, or while breathing out short he understands I'm breathing out short. And then similarly with the third one, experiencing the whole body, it's in full on the screen. And with the fourth one, I will breathe in, tranquilizing the bodily activator. There is some uncertainty in the tradition as to which word means breathe in and which means breathe out. But since the formula specifies that either breathing in or breathing out is acceptable as a starting point, this has little importance. Some sources influenced by the Sarvastivadin Abhidharma tradition reverse the order of the first two stages, so that a short breath precedes a long breath. See below. But all known sutra and Vinaya texts preserved in Sanskrit and Chinese seem to retain the order as first short, then long, as in Pali. That a deliberate process of making the breath long or short is envisaged is clear from the simile which compares the first two items to a turner's knowing when he makes a long cut and knowing when he makes a short cut. In the version given above, we have understands for the first two items and then trains for the next two, as well as for the following stages. This is the normal practice in the Pali texts. However, when the case concerns the post-awakening practice of the Buddha, the notion of training does not fit well, does not sit well. So we find that here understands is used throughout. Not surprisingly, in the texts influenced by Sarvastivadin Abhidharma, this is used for all the items, since Abhidharma aims to give a universally applicable description, Nipariyaya Desana. Almost uniquely, the Chinese translation of the Sangyuktagama employs trains with all 16 items. But this is probably an error arising from an overly abbreviated manuscript. No further information is given as to how to practice the first two items, but one may suspect that from an early date some kind of counting was employed in the initial two stages. Although counting the breath is not mentioned in the canonical literature, it is widespread in Buddhist traditions in the early centuries AD as part of a complementary list of 4, 6 or 8 stages of practice, beginning always with counting. Buddhaghosa refers to the list of 8 as the ways of bringing to mind, the Manasikara Vitti. Deliano suggests that lists of this type may go back to the 2nd century BC, and sees this as an auxiliary exercise devised by the Abhidharma masters. But there's nothing particularly Abhidharmic about it, and it may equally have been part of a much older oral tradition of teaching. The third stage is given in the Pali sources as experiencing the whole body. This must originally have been meant very simply and literally. As meditation on the breath continues, the meditator becomes aware of more subtle effects of the breath in a wider and wider area of the body. There is of course no concept of any kind of gas or oxygen in ancient India. What is meant by breath is a force which moves different parts of the body and generates various contact sensations. In essence then, experiencing the whole body in the 16 stages is the same thing as the 2nd stage in the complementary lists referred to above, that is to say, following, Anubandhana. Buddhaghosa interprets this as referring to the breath body, and explains it as making known, i.e. fully clear, the beginning, middle and end of each breath. He explains that for some meditators only one of these 3 may be initially seen clearly. This has to be rectified so that all 3 are clear. Later, however, when discussing the following stage of the complementary list, he suggests that the beginning, middle and end should not be followed in and out of the body, i.e. to and from the navel, heart and nose tip. He cites a passage from the Patisampada Magga. It's on the screen, and for those who want to look at the Pali or the Sanskrit text, that's actually given in the printed text after the paper, so you can look at the handout if you want to see the text. Body and mind are disquieted and disturbed and troubled when one follows with mindfulness the beginning, middle and end of the in-breath with a mind that is distracted within. Body and mind are disquieted and disturbed and troubled when one follows with mindfulness the beginning, middle and end of the out-breath with a mind that is distracted without. It seems clear from the context, however, that the Patisambhidamagga intends to warn against letting the mind be distracted within or without, not against following the breath as such. It is treated alongside other examples of letting the mind be distracted from the immediate object, such as desiring the out-breath while being mindful of the in-breath, and so on. We may compare this description of the second item in the complementary lists, that's Anubandhana, in the Abhidhamma Kosha, so in Sanskrit text. What is called following follows the movement of the in-breaths and out-breaths without controlling where they go, so as to know how far they go in or out, and whether they pervade the whole body or occur in a single place. He follows them as they go in, sequentially entering the neck, heart, navel, loins, thighs, lower legs as far as the feet. He follows them as they go out the distance of a span or a fathom. Others say that he follows them as far as the circle of winds and the Vairamba winds. That's the boundaries of the world system in their cosmology. That is not appropriate because it would be bringing to mind an element, i.e. wind element, and not breathing mindfulness. The final stage in the first tetrad of breathing mindfulness refers to tranquilizing kaya sankhara. This can be interpreted in two ways. Sankhara can just mean activity, in which case this fourth item simply refers to a gradual process of stilling all bodily activity or movement. The simile of the gong given in the Patisambhidamagga could be applied to this. I've already read that out. Just as when a gong has been struck, first of all gross sounds occur. Because the appearance of the gross sounds has been well grasped, well brought to mind and well learned, even when the gross sound has ceased, still afterwards subtle sounds occur. Because the appearance of the subtle sounds has been well grasped, well brought to mind and well learned, even when the subtle sound has ceased, still afterwards the mind occurs because it has the appearance of the subtle sounds as its object. In the very same way, first of all, gross in and out breaths occur. Because the appearance of the gross in and out breaths has been well grasped, well brought to mind, and well learned, even when the gross in and out breaths have ceased, still afterwards subtle in and out breaths occur. Because the appearance of the subtle in and out breaths has been well grasped, well brought to mind, and well learned, even when the subtle in and out breaths have ceased, still afterwards the mind does not become distracted, because it has the appearance, the word used is nimitta, of the subtle in and out breaths as its object. This simile clearly describes the subtler and subtler appearance of the breath as breathing mindfulness is practiced, and could easily have originally been applied to tranquilizing kaya sankhara, in the sense of stilling all bodily activity. However, this is not how the Patisambhidamagga understands this. Instead, it understands sankhara in the sense of activator or constructor. So stilling the kaya sankhara means stilling what enables the body to act. It refers here to the first in a list of 3 kinds of sankhara, in which the bodily activator is explained as in-breaths and out-breaths. The verbal activator is thinking and exploring, vitaka and vichara, and the mental activator is feeling and labeling, sanya. The point being that breathing enables the body to function. When there's no breathing, the body cannot perform any action. Thinking and exploring, in their technical sense, necessarily precede any kind of deliberate verbal speech. The 2 aggregates of feeling and labeling underlie the mental activities that continue to take place in the jhanas and formless attainments. The special attainment that lies beyond the formless attainments is precisely referred to as the cessation of labeling and feeling, Vedayata. This notion of the three activators is found in two canonical discourses. In addition, the expression "with the bodily activator tranquilized" occurs in the list of the 10 Avyavasa applied to the fourth jhana. It's also found in one other discourse. There it clearly refers to the stopping of breathing in the fourth jhana. It seems, in terms of the complementary lists, the northern sources generally seem to have had fixing, tapana, as the third and final item in the shamatha portion of the list, corresponding to tapana in Pali. Given this close relation of forms of the root star to definitions of samadhi, this seems to naturally correspond to the fourth stage in the 16-fold list. The Abhidharma Kosha indicates that fixing is when he sees the in and out breaths as fixed, stitan, at the nose tip or at the other locations as far as the big toe, like a thread within a gem. The Vimuttimagga and Visuddhimagga, however, divide this stage into two: touching, prasana, and fixing or settling, tapana. The motivation behind this seems to be a wish to emphasize the importance of the location where the contact of the breath is felt, at the nose tip or on the upper lip. As they say, at the nose tip for those with large noses, and on the upper tip for those with small noses. No doubt this is to assist the development of a nimitta of the breath. Abhidharma interpretation. In some Sarvastivadin Abhidharma circles, an attempt seems to have been made to formulate the 16 stages in more precise Abhidharma terms. The starting point for this was probably the fourth stage. As we have it on the list, this simply refers to stilling the bodily activities, understood as in and out breathing. We may suppose that all of the first four stages continue as the practice progresses. And certainly in the case of the fourth, the process of tranquilization continues as the remaining 12 stages are developed. But the Abhidharmikas seem to have relied on the Suttanta claim that in the fourth jhana breathing was fully tranquilized to argue that in the highest sense, i.e. in Abhidharma terms, the fourth stage refers specifically to the fourth jhana. What naturally followed from this was an identification of the preceding three stages with the three previous jhanas. The third item, experiencing the whole body, might naturally seem to link with the third jhana, given that that is described as drenching, flooding, filling and suffusing this very body, with happiness undisturbed by joy. But there was rather more of a problem with linking the first two items to the first two jhanas. It was felt that long breathing is associated with a more peaceful state, and short breathing with less peaceful states. So it was hard for them to envisage long breathing as connected to the first jhana, and short breathing as belonging to the second jhana, always envisaged as more subtle than the first. There was perhaps some confusion here between two different situations. While engaged in strenuous activity, the breath is naturally shorter. When resting after such activity, the breath can become long and slow, even rather peaceful. The Abhidharmikas took this as their model. However, in the meditative context, when the breath becomes more subtle, it tends to be shorter, even very short, almost imperceptible. The solution adopted was to reverse the order of the first two stages in the 16th-fold list and have short breathing precede long. This sequence is found in Vaibhashika works, notably the Chinese translations of the Mahavibhasha and Sanghabhadra's Nyayanusara. However, the usual order seems to have been well established and the change seems to have met resistance. 3 texts translated or composed by Kumarajiva and others at the beginning of the 4th century AD resolved the issue by combining these 2 stages into a single stage of observing breathing as long or short. It's perhaps worth noting that something similar is done by Buddhaghosa in the Visuddhimagga, when he introduces a verse after the 2nd stage. There's the verse in Pali. I'll read the translation. Long and short. In breath and also out breath, 4 kinds occur at the long nose tip for a bhikkhu. It seems likely that this is a quotation, so possibly something similar was known also to Kumarajiva. But most later sources in fact retain the order long followed by short. These include almost all non-Sarvastivadin sources, including the Shravaka Bhumi. Given that the materials preserved in Chinese represent a strong influence from Sarvastivadin sources and other schools of the northwest of the Indian subcontinent, and preserve relatively little of such major schools as the Samitiyas, Mahishasakas, and the different varieties of Mahasangika, and of course Theravada. This is striking. Not surprisingly, the identification of the first 4 items with the first 4 jhanas has also not been widely accepted. For Buddhaghosa, the first tetrad is seen as the explanation for the beginner, the Adikamika. The following 3 tetrads are seen as setting out contemplation of feeling, mind and Dhamma for one who has attained jhana. This follows the link between the 4 establishings of mindfulness and the 4 tetrads that is already made in the canonical sources. This understanding is shared by most non-Pali sources also. We should note that in this kind of understanding, the 16 stages are more like modes. They do not constitute a simple sequence in which one progresses. The shift from an original description, as I would see it, of successive stages to a more complex interpretation is probably associated with the rise of Abhidhamma. So the second tetrad, so I'll just read the key bits. The full text is probably before you and on the screen. So I will breathe in experiencing joy, experiencing happiness. The next one, experiencing the mental activators. And then last one, tranquilizing the mental activators. There can be very little doubt that in the Sutanta sources, the first 2 items in this tetrad were originally intended to refer to the jhanas. What was probably originally meant by the first one is either the first 2 jhanas or more probably just the 2nd jhana. However, the suttas do not distinguish between approach, upachara, and absorption concentration. So later sources had to reinterpret slightly. They understand that what is meant here is the experience of joy in the near jhana, absorption and post-jhana states. This includes the development of insight on the basis of the jhana factors. So this and the subsequent items in this and the following tetrad are seen as developing both calm and insight. Such an analysis is already found in the Vimuttimagga, which specifically relates the first 3 items in this tetrad to the 2nd, 3rd and 4th jhanas, but also points to the experiencing of joy in the first 2 jhanas, of happiness in the first 3 jhanas, and of the mental activator activators in all 4 jhanas. A similar position to the latter is found in Vaibhashika texts and in the Shravaka Bhumi, although they exclude the 4th jhana on the grounds that breathing has stopped there, and hence there can be no practice of mindfulness of in and out breathing at that time. For the Pali sources, however, the practice of breathing mindfulness continues in the 4th jhana, taking the nimitta produced by the breath as its object. third item, experiencing the mental activators, the same issue arises as with the third item in the first tetrad. What is meant by sankhara here? But in this case, it does not seem possible to take it in a general sense as experiencing mental activity, because it would be difficult to distinguish that from the first item in the third tetrad, which will be experiencing the mind. So we have to understand mental activators here as referring to feeling and labeling. Vedana and Sandha. This fits very well with the classification of this tetrad as concerned with mindfulness of feeling. This interpretation is followed by the Pali sources and also by Harivarman and Sanghabhadra. This item must originally in the sutta context have referred to the fourth jhana, which is essentially a state in which feeling has been mastered and the mind can remain in balance with neutral feeling. So now it has to be let go of. It follows that the fourth item is moving towards formless meditation in some way. Just as the form jhanas concern making feeling subtle, so the formless attainments, at least initially, concern making labeling sanya subtle. Probably what was meant here originally was the sphere of boundless space. However, stilling the mental activator in the fullest sense could only refer to the attainment of cessation. This is spelt out in the commentary to the Artha Vinishchaya Sutra. Probably for this reason, some sources understand Chitta Sankhara as referring to labeling and will, to Chetana. The meditation manual found in Central Asia, the so-called Yoga Layer book, understands the difference between experiencing the mental activator, or activators, and stilling the mental activator, as concerning an absence of purposeful mental activity in the latter. This seems to reflect a similar understanding. So the third tetrad, one way. There we go. So again, I'll abbreviate, it's on the screen in front of you. So breathing in, breathing, experiencing mind is the first one. Gladdening the mind is the second one. Concentrating the mind is the third one. Freeing the mind is the fourth one. Following the same logic as before, the original Siddhanta understanding must be that the first item refers to the sphere of boundless consciousness. If so, the second item should relate to the sphere of nothingness. Probably the rationale here is the necessity of arousing a positive state of mind before adopting nothingness as the object of attention. The third item would then correspond to the last formless attainment, neither labeling nor absence of labeling. Obviously, this is the deepest level of formless concentration. The fourth could then be some kind of turn towards insight meditation. No later source seems to interpret the third tetrad in this way, however. That may partly be because formless meditation was less practiced, or at least less emphasized in the later period. What we do find is the kind of Abhidhamma-based analysis we saw in the previous tetrad. So experiencing mind is understood by the Visuddhimagga in terms of experiencing mind in the four jhanas, i.e. on recollecting the jhana. Gladdening the mind is explained as gladdening the mind either at the moment of entering one of the first two jhanas, due to the associated joy, or at the moment of insight arising after emerging from that jhana and examining the way in which that associated joy is subject to destruction. Similarly, concentrating the mind is the act of properly settling the mind on the object in one of the jhanas. Or, it is the momentary one-pointedness of mind that arises through penetrating one of the three signs, impermanence and so on, after emerging from that jhana and examining the way in which the mind that is associated with jhana is subject to destruction. Finally, freeing the mind is the successive freeing of the mind from the hindrances and various jhana factors as one progresses through the jhanas. Or it is the freeing of the mind that arises at the moment of insight, when a specific insight knowledge arises and frees the mind from the corresponding mental distortion. So, for example, contemplation of impermanence releases the mind from the notion of permanence, and so on. By contrast, in Harivarman's Satya or Tattvasiddhi Shastra, or however it's to be rendered, and the Shravaka Bhumi, we see explanations that are not based upon Abhidharma analysis. They interpret gladdening and concentrating as overcoming sluggishness and excitement, respectively. For the former, freeing the mind concerns establishing equanimity, while the Shravaka Bhumi simply sees it as being purged from the hindrances. For the first item, the Shravaka Bhumi simply interprets it in terms of basic mindfulness of citta, while Harivarman refers to overcoming the savouring of feeling. Such explanations follow naturally from the wording, but they do not seem to fit well with the overall structure of the 16 items. So let us turn now to look at that. The structure of the 16-fold list, and I put it up in a table, but it may be printed, I think. And my point is that there's something parallel is going on along the lines. So the first in each tetrad are similar, the second in each tetrad are similar, the third in each tetrad are similar, and the fourth are similar. Taking just the first 12 items, there seems to be a significant parallelism. The link between the tetrads and the four establishings of mindfulness is almost universal and certainly ancient. The first item in each set of four sets up contact with the area in question. So long breaths are a particularly visible and noticeable form of bodily manifestation. Joy is a relatively gross form of energization which suffuses the body with pleasant feeling. Compare the simile for the second jhana of lotuses suffused from top to bottom with cool water. Experiencing mind is precisely making contact with mind in its pure form as boundless consciousness. Short breaths are a somewhat more subtle form of bodily manifestation. As the happiness of the third jhana is a very subtle form of pleasant feeling. The parallel is less clear in the case of mind, but it is still connected with a move to something mental that is more subtle. With the third item in each tetrad, the shift is yet again to something even more subtle. With the body, we have a kind of whole body awareness of the breath throughout the body. With feelings, the focus is now on experiencing the most subtle kind of feeling, one that is very quiet and pervasive. The image is that of a man with his whole body, including his head, covered by a white cloth. With the mind, concentration is a process of centering and unifying. That culminates in the transcending of the polarities involved in the attainment of neither labeling nor absence of labeling, and so on. The fourth item in each tetrad is precisely a process of gradual stilling so as to let go of that kind of experience and open out to something new. So in the first case, the breathing becomes ever more subtle so that awareness of the body becomes ever more marginal. In the second case, the various feelings and the labeling activity which concerns itself with multiplicity are gradually discarded in the experience of boundless space. In the third case, the activity of the mind is being minimized so as to let go of all deliberate or purposive activity. So we come to the fourth tetrad. And can I give it just short? It's on the screen, etc. Contemplating impermanence, then contemplating dispassion, then contemplating cessation, and then contemplating relinquishing. This is also the sequence in the Shariputra Abhidharma Shastra and the Artavinishchaya Sutra. But most other non-Pali sources follow the Sarvastivadin tradition and insert contemplating abandoning as the second item and omit the final item, thus retaining a set of 4. The exception is a group of texts translated by Kumarajiva, which seems to adopt both alternatives in a set of 5. The terms used here are part of often longer sets of terms which occur in a number of different ways in the canonical texts, both in Pali and in Sanskrit sources. It's often unclear whether they refer to different forms or stages of insight experience, or are simply near synonyms. As here, however, such sequences almost always begin with impermanence, and so clearly concern insight or wisdom in some form. Relinquishing Patinisagga is usually last, either because it is intended to refer to the final relinquishing of all upadi by the Arahant, or because of the rule of waxing syllables in oral literature. In repetitive sequences in oral literature, the longer things come later. Or it may be both of these. We may then suppose that an earlier Sutanta explanation would have been to equate the contemplation of dispassion with stream entry. In fact, the Pali commentaries do preserve a tradition of identifying this contemplation with the path of vision, the Dasana Magga. One might then identify the third item with the path of bringing into being, Bhavana Magga. Later interpreters offer more sophisticated accounts. So for the Visuddhimagga and Vimuttimagga, this fourth tetrad concerns only insight. This ought to mean that they do not understand the final stage as completely fulfilling the path. But Buddhaghosa explicitly states that the final 3 items can be understood both as insight and as the experience of enlightenment in the path. So Buddhaghosa would presumably agree that in the latter case, karma and insight are both involved. The commentators, of course, have to offer an interpretation suitable for someone like the Buddha because of the account in a discourse found in the Samyutta Nikaya and a corresponding Chinese version, in which the Buddha spends three months practicing the 16 stages of breathing mindfulness, and recommends it both for the trainee, the Seka, and also for the Arahat, for happy abiding in the here and now, and for mindfulness and awareness. Mahanama's commentary on the Patisampada offers an interpretation of the 4 in terms of insight alone. So the first item is simply contemplation of impermanence, the second is understood as contemplation of disenchantment, nibbida, while the third is explained as contemplation of breaking up, banga, i.e. strong insight. The fourth is interpreted as insight leading to emergence, i.e. equanimity about constructions, and conformity knowledge, the stages preceding membership, Gotrabhu, and the path. Mahanama also gives the same explanations as Buddhaghosa elsewhere, so he understands this Patisambhada Magga context as referring specifically to developing insight. So Abhidharma interpretation. The notion of the 3 elements, the element of abandoning, the element of dispassion, and the element of cessation, seems to derive them from a Sarvastivadin Sutra source. There they are applied to permanent liberation and defined as abandoning passion, abandoning other defilements, and abandoning the basis for clinging. They are considered identical to the unconstructed element. The Abhidharma Shataka defines the 3 as the abandoning, dispassion towards, and cessation of all constructions, sankaskara. A number of alternative explanations of the last 4 items are given in the Mahavibhasha, and these can be tabulated. This is mostly based on the material that's been provided by Kuala Lumpur Dhamajyoti in his article. Sravaka Bhumi explains the three elements as follows. The element of abandoning is the consequence of abandoning all sanskaras, which are abandoned by the path of vision. The element of dispassion is the consequence of abandoning all sanskaras, which are abandoned by the path of bringing to being. The element of cessation is due to the cessation of all upadi. This may well preserve a very old interpretation. What is clear here is that the final stage is identified with arahatship, either in life or at death. Only at the attainment of arahatship, I'm referring back to the table now, do future fetters cease to arise. Only then do all remaining fetters cease to arise, and only then does attachment to the subtle neutral feeling of the higher realms cease. Less clear to me is what is meant by Vasumitra and the Vedanta, but that could perhaps be more to do with Anupadishesha. Given that insight lists ending with Pratinisarga are found in Sanskrit sutra sources, it seems most likely that the fourth tetrad did originally end with Prahana followed by Pratinisarga. It seems probable that the decision to place Prahana in the final position was probably another result of Abhidharma analysis. In the final analysis, Prahana should refer to the abandoning of suffering, and only arahatship is the unequivocal end of suffering. So, for the Abhidharmika, it should, in the highest formulation, be the final stage. Conclusion. The divergences in the list of the 16 stages can then be understood as follows. The first 12 stages were originally as we still find them in the Theravada and other sources. They in essence simply describe the path to jhana in the first tetrad, the path to the formless attainments in the second tetrad, and the path to the development of insight in the third tetrad. Early Abhidharmikas gave an alternative Abhidharma interpretation, interpreting the fourth stage as one not of the process of calming the breath, but instead as the state where the breath is completely tranquilized, i.e. the fourth jhana. It was then natural to envisage the next two tetrads as an Abhidharma style analysis. The first three stages were then understood as, properly speaking, corresponding to the first three jhanas, probably intending full attainment rather than neighborhood concentration. I mean, I probably should have put jhana there because I'm referring to the Sanskrit sources. Such an Abhidharmika interpretation of the first four stages was not adopted into the traditions of the Vibhajavadin schools, such as the Dharmaguptakas or the Taryas. This may well have been because they had a rather developed exegesis of breathing mindfulness that does not seem to have been taken over into Sarvastivadin literature. With the last four stages, we have alternative sets of four terms in at least these two traditions. Various sequences of insight knowledges are actually found in early sources, so it may well be that this variation is quite old and did not originally imply any difference of understanding. Clearly, the last four stages are given an Abhidharma-based interpretation in both the Terya and the Sarvastivadin literature. This allows them to be interpreted as four stages leading to stream entry, or as the four paths, or for an arahat, as aspects of fruition attainment. The versions connected with Kumara Jiva seem to represent an attempted synthesis of the two main traditions, either by Kumara Jiva himself or by the Mahayanist sources on which he drew. Cool.
接下来就请岳建东教授来帮我们 中文的摘译的部分。
那个刚刚教授他叹了一口气，我是要叹更长的一口气。为什么呢？各位，这个是这篇论文是非常有学术，就是标准的学术味道的，而且以他这样子的这么资深的这方面的专家，他写的非常的学术化。意思就是你必须要有非常非常多的这个背景知识，还有可能理解这篇论文。那我也是前几天才拿到这篇论文，几乎没时间做翻译，我是这2天拼命一边看一边稍微打，甚至还没打完，就是他一边讲，我一边看，所以我自己也没有完全理解他的论文，所以我要叹更长的一口气。但是这篇是蛮有意思的一篇论文那我试试看那去摘要一下，协助各位去理解，然后看提出一些问题。我应该没办法完全理解它的。那基本上的重点就是对于这16行这16个步骤，阿那巴那念的16行，在北传叫16圣行，在南传有个叫16种事，16事。教授有他自己的想法跟解释，注意有他自己的想法跟解释。那他是怎么得出自己的解释的呢？他把这个呢，他去比对所有几乎很重要的巴利的，代表南传的，还有梵文的，还有中文汉译的，当然他是透过这个翻译来看中文的，北传的阿毗达摩，所以他去做这样的对比。因为这16圣行呢，在很多地方都会被解释到，那所以南北传各有自己的看法，那后代的论述也是有类似的看法，所以他把这些所有的资料综合在那个一起来对比呢，得出他自己的一些看法，所以这点呢是蛮有学术价值，那应该有很多东西可以讨论，所以如果你听不懂的话，这个也没关系，因为我本身也没有完全懂。那如果你是本身有基础的话，这个会蛮精彩的。好，那再来就是荧幕上这个是我赶快用打的方式呢去截录，所以你可能也看不太清楚。如果你很有兴趣又想要看的话，你要过去过去一点，或者是仔细听我再讲。好，那基本上呢，本文探索经典中对安般念经。用的是安般念经4类4法，总共有16项，16节或16式的入出席的禅修公式的，对这16项这个公式来做解释。他先解释前3项，然后呢再看第4种释法，对，是有每一个都是有4种释法。好，这个公式的原意的，他说他就慢慢就会浮现出来，对他来讲，但是这个是教授自己的解释。好，那而且呢，很多的意思呢，在阿毗达摩跟注释书的解释呢，经常会去解释说这些公式应该怎么修。那这16行呢，首先出现在巴利中部、真支部还有那个相应部的安般相应等等。那南传的很重要的那个小部里面的无碍解道呢，有详细的解说，还有律藏也有，比那雅也有。好。在汉译的部分呢，也有汉译的经典也有，还有一小部分那个梵文的那个文本呢，也有相当的经文。好，那首先呢，这个前4行就是第一个的4行呢， 第一组有4种四行，我全部用行来表示哈。前4行，那也出现于这个念处经或者大念处经，所以这个安般念经跟大念处经其实不一样的。那所以这前4个呢出现在念处经，似乎呢会是从一个更早一组的16行抽取出来的，也就是念处经的这4行呢是从另外地方抽出来的。因为念处经的后12项，念处经讲是身受心法，受心法的后12项呢，不见得没有，就是那个安般念经的后12项，不见得与念处经的这个后面这个受念处、心念处、法念处呢完全匹配，所以这一点是很重要，说明那个班点可以回应。好，再来呢就是在讲这16行之前呢有一个公式。这公式是讲说，在这里啊，比丘前往树林，或者到树消到空闲处，结跏趺坐，然后呢，身体要保持正直，把念放在面前，只念入息，只念出息，这样子的一个公式出现。那教授有稍微提到说，这个结跏趺坐，当经典没有讲说是那个我们现在所谓的双盘，那所以到底是怎么样？为什么一致认为是双盘呢？这个是一个小问题。再来就是很多的经典呢，把这个公式呢说这是出现在16行之前，正式的16行还没开始之前。那而且都是出现在去除五盖之前，或者在四禅公式之前，或者说呢，你要修禅那的话呢，要先修这个安那般那念，所以这个公式就会先出现。好，再来有一个短句，这个叫做一个小短句，它也会再去解读，就是叫做念于入息，念于出息。好，这个短句呢是有人以为说这个是还没有开始的时候呢，这个就是一开始就是你看这里的第一个式法，一开始就是说入息常时，我知道入息常。这个短句出现在这个之前，那有人认为这是还没有修长修短之前的前行，他认为是一个误解。还有这个少数的巴利文献呢，非巴利文献就是汉译的呢，把这个视为是16行的一部分，这个呢他也认为也是某种的误解。好，那他的看法是什么呢？好像这里好像我印象没错的话，他看法就是这整句呢是整个修安般念的总的一个公式。好，重要一点就是经典似乎没有出现说按照一般呼吸 normal 的普通呼吸呢就可以了，作为禅修之说。反而经典一开始就是从或长或短开始。好，那这跟我们目前的理解有点不太一样。我们经常说，你修呼吸的话就先正常呼吸了。再来就进入到第一式法。第一式法的标准公式是这样子：入息长的时候我知道入息长，出息长的时候我知道出息长，入息短也是如此。第3、第4项很有意思是他学习说他已经不用了知，学习说我将觉知全身，入息的时候觉知全身，出息的时候觉知全身。第4个呢就是我将极静身形，把身形呢去让它静止的，而入息或者这个出息也是一样。好，那这里呢有些梵语的阿毗达摩呢，就是北传阿毗达摩呢，会建议说先短后长，所以到底先长先短。可是大部分的还有其他的梵文的这个经啊，或者汉译的经典呢，还有律呢，保留跟巴利一样的顺序。好，再来呢一个问题就是前面2项是知道，可是后面2项是学。如果用学的话呢 ，sikadi train 的话呢，你对佛陀来讲不太适合。就是所谓的有学要学。因为佛陀本身也修这个安那般那念。那所以呢，因此说一些有部的阿毗达摩果然把它全部改为知，就怎么样，全部都是知。那因为呢，这个所以有部的阿毗达摩它的一个方式呢，就是所谓的阿毗达摩经常会提供一种所谓不需要借用方便之说，就直接铺陈这个 普世之说这样子，这叫做有一个梵文字，是这个是出现在我们的这个论文里面，已经不晓得哪一页，看一下。好，那个在论文的第4页第4页 ，Nibbali Deshana， 不需要假借任何的特殊的方法或方便。好，那这样所以因此来到第4页了那如果你跟得上好，再来呢就是它的汉译的杂含经很奇怪，完全全部用学把它改成学。他说这个可能是受什么影响呢？是受到当时的手抄本有缩略语。可能就先写一个缩略语是学，那全部都没有再写了，可是他把它补回去，用学。好，那再来就是要怎么去修前面这2项呢？陆习常修那个陆习常呢，其实在经典没有任何资讯，可是我们发现呢，从很早期呢就有一些文献呢有记载是有数习，用数的方式。所以虽然没有出现在经典中呢，可是佛教的传统大概在西元一开始的这几个世纪呢，就已经开始流行用数作为开始的。有些有4项，有些有6项，有8项。那6项就是我们所熟悉的数、随止、观、环境。那在《清净道论》是有列出8项，所谓的8种作意的规定。所以开始有数。好，第3个呢，第3行呢是我将觉知全身而入息，觉知全身。教授认为，也许是很简单，本来就是说，你持续修呼吸之后，你就会对呼吸、对全身的细腻度、敏感度会有更广泛的知道。那因为呢，呼吸的过程会对身体的不同部位产生不同的触觉。那这个是跟刚刚说的数随止观的随息呢很类同。可是呢，后来的论师呢，像觉音的解释说，这个全息叫做呼吸的全部过程，初、中、后。不过觉音在后面呢，却建议呢，不要追随呼吸，不要当呼吸是从肚脐到心脏到鼻端的这个过程的初、中、后呢，不要去在你随息的时候不要去追随。那他引用了无碍解道的一段文来说明这个。好，那不过教授认为这个觉音引用无碍解道，可是无碍解道的意图可能就这段文来讲，可能不是要让心呢去对内在或外在呢受到干扰，而反对说你不要去追随呼吸。所以教授认为这个无碍解道的这部分呢，并不是反对说你去追随呼吸的这个过程。他有举出其他的经证论文来说明说，无碍解道后面也说，心呢不止不要受到内在外在的干扰，也不要受到其他的干扰。比如说你在念初息跟入息的时候，你不要去你在念入息的时候，你不要说我希望有出息，不要受这样子的希求心的干扰。好，再来可以比较一下俱舍论对属息随息这个第2点的描述。这个是从俱舍论的中文，教授所提供的是梵文，他把它翻译成英文，那我直接去摘录这个俱舍论的中文给大家看随呢为心细心缘入出行，不做加行，随息而行。这样好。那最后这个就是来讲说对随息的描述。那是俱舍论有他自己的看法。最后一个呢，这4项就是极尽身形。好，这边身形很有意思，有两种解释。首先的身形呢 ，gaya sankara 只是一种活动，这个是指 activity， 英文的 activity。那它可能是指逐渐的去把你的身体的活动让它安静下来。那他举了无碍解道的这个敲钟的譬喻。敲完钟之后开始是粗的音，那慢慢粗的音消灭之后呢，去好像有细音，这个去消灭，细一点消灭之后呢，就随着这样子呢，你的整个心的活动就慢慢停下来。好，那这个是无碍解道的譬喻，这个譬喻好像是看起来好像是说明说极尽身形是有 逐渐的把身体的活动极尽的意识。不过呢，那个教授认为说，外解道应该是将之理解为，对吧？所谓的极尽身形呢，指的是身形的发动者，而不是身的活动。身形不是身的活动，而是身形的发动者。这在文法上是可以，它是作为这个Baubrichi 的一个。那所以极尽身形是指你去禁止那个能升起身体的活动、发动身体活动的那个，对，不是活动本身，是活动的发动者。好，那一般呢，形可以说有3种：身形、语形、意形。这就是所谓的第一种身形，一种发动者。那第2种呢，语形呢，就是发动语的活动者是什么呢？他认为是寻跟视，这部分是教授很特殊的解释。所以寻视呢，那Vitakka呢，作为语的发动者。第3种意形是什么呢？你心的活动，谁去发动它呢？他说受跟想是作为意的发动者。所以重点是呢，好，把这3种比较起来的话，刚开始呼吸的时候呢，呼吸是能够让身体起作用，所以它是发动者。如果你要刻意说什么话的话呢，你必须要有巡视在先。如果你必须要让心的活动能够持续的话呢，特别是在禅定、禅那跟无色定中发生的话呢，你受跟想的是发动者。最后呢，他举一个证据，就是说，超越无色定的话。事无色定的最后一个超越的话呢，是所谓灭受想定，就把受跟想灭了。好，那3种发动者的这种说法也有在其他经文看到。如果你有兴趣的话，看他的注24、注25甚至真正部也有清楚的说明呢，在4禅中呢，呼吸是停止的，叫注26。好，在北传呢提到安住作为第3项。这就是属随止观的止，安住作为第3项。好，可是这个似乎很自然的就指向16行的第4项，刚刚的那个止息身形。好，俱舍论有他的看法，我们先跳过好了。不过清净道论跟这个解脱道论呢，在这边是把它分成2项，北传才分成1项，属随止。那清净道论在这边分成处跟安住。好，再来是所谓阿毗达摩的解释。一般上说一切有部的阿毗达摩呢，用很多的阿毗达摩的用语来解释。好，那所谓阿毗达摩师呢，他们依经的主张来说，在4禅中呢，呼吸完全即止，就这个静止呢，指的就是说，第四种呢是第4禅。根据这样的经文呢来说，那第4应该是第4禅。如果第4是第4禅的话呢，很自然的你会把前面3个呢，那个前3禅呢跟前三行呢来做一个对比。所以那前面这个第2个的呢，觉知全身就等于第3禅。那然后这个为什么呢？因为3禅的公式有讲说，你身体会被喜乐所遍满。所以这个这样对比好像可以，可是呢，把前2行跟前2禅对比呢，则比较有困难。因为你看，如果第1个是长息的话，长息跟初禅有什么关系？短息跟2禅有什么关系？因为有时候呢，比较费劲的活动，你呼吸是比较短的，跑步呼吸很快很短。你活动静止的时候，呼吸反而是慢又长。所以反而是长的是在后。那不过在禅修的脉络当中，他有引用到这个无所比丘的一个说法，就是呼吸呢是会越来越细，越来越短，短到最后几乎没办法察觉。所以这个先长后短，3长2短，先长后短呢是比较好像也是蛮合理的。好，再来就举到汉译的大毗婆沙论，顺正理论呢是把这个长短的顺序来调换。那鸠摩罗什把2者甚至合在一起，就是没办法决定的哪一个先长后短，就干脆就是说，鸠摩罗什的翻译是一心念习入出，若长若短这样子。好，那清净道论也有类似的说法。好，那所以因个四种方法呢，前4种方法对应4禅呢，不见得广泛的被接受。有其他的经 有其他的阿毗达摩不见得会接受的。啊，比如说觉音呢，将第一种事法是视为是初学者的，那其他的事法呢是让已经有禅那的人呢修受念处、心念处跟法念处，把这个跟四念处一起结合。好，所以四念处跟四种事法的连结呢，在经典当中已经有看到了嘛。那因此很简单的结论就是，这16行呢，说不定是某一种的模式，就是方式。而不是说按照这16种步骤简单的一个次第的步骤，但是呢，那个经典上这么简单，但是阿毗达摩或论书呢，把简单的描述呢，变成造成很多的复杂的解释，把它加上说要跟自然配合啊等等，这个呢，教授认为也许是跟阿毗达摩渐渐的兴起有关系的。好，这样我们就解释完第一种事法。那第二种事法呢，也有类似的情况哦。那经典呢是把前2项呢跟禅那有关，或者前2禅，这2项跟前2禅或者第2禅有关系。但是在经典当中呢，没有区分进行定跟安止定，就是后面才有的。所以后来的文献呢，就把这2项觉知喜而入行、觉知乐而触行呢，或者觉知喜而入行呢，解释为是你在靠近要进入禅的时候，跟进入禅还有出禅。从禅当中出来之后的所经验到的喜，那也包括说在禅知的基础上呢来修观。好，之后的这几项呢，都被视为是止跟观共同的修行。好，解脱道论也有类似的一个分析，把前3项对应前3禅，那同时说明在前2禅经验喜，前3禅经验乐，心行在所有4禅当中都有。毗婆沙论声闻地也有类似的解说，不过很有意思的就是，他们排除第4禅，因为第4禅的时候呢，呼吸已经停止了，所以既然没有呼吸了，那就没有入出息念的修行。那可是呢，巴利的呢是会认为说4禅呢还是必须会持续在修，那有修入出息念，修入出息念的什么呢？是入出息所产生的禅相作为这个它的所缘。好，那第2种事法谈到的是心行哦，刚刚是身行，那这里的心行的行是什么呢？如果要解释为说你体验心，这个不是心就，是你心内心的活动呢？这样子的话，你说这个心行是说体验心的活动，这样子你就很难跟第3种事法，第3种的第1项就是说我将觉知心而入行做区分。如果你这样解释的话。好，因此呢，应该呢，教授说这个应该跟受想有关系，也就跟受念处相关，这个是他的解释，要特别注意的。好，那巴利的还有这个赫利拔陀这个诚实论的作者啦，众贤这个孙正理论作者呢，也做这样子的一个解释教授呢把它采纳这样的。可是更可能的是第4禅在那个境界已经被掌控，然后心保持在舍，因为第4禅是舍的平衡下，那因此呢，可以在这时候把这些放下。4禅是色界禅，所以把这些放下，因此应该可以那个进到这个无色定禅。所以呢，第4项呢，所以这边的极静心行呢，把心行极止，就是朝往无色定。前面的色界禅让你的受变得很细，那无色界呢就会使你的想变得越来越细微。所以第4项他认为呢，也许是指空无边处。所以按照巴拉念的这个第2组的4法的第4项是空无边整个完整的极静心行呢，也许指的是灭尽定。好，他有讲说那个有其他经论也有讲到类似的情况。好，来到第3种4法。第3种4法就是觉知心出入息，让心喜悦而出入息，让心等持，让心解脱。好，这样的话，他就直接说，第1项呢相当于事无边处，第2项呢相当于空无边处，第3项相当于非想非非想处，第4项呢就是跟观禅相关。他说后来的文献呢比较少做这个解释，原因呢很可能就是后来的那个传统呢很可能比较少去修无色定， 可是我们这个教授特别爱无色定的，所以这个他是色摩他的，要记得他这个很超爱禅定跟禅那跟无色定。好，那精进道论呢，理解说这个觉知心为回忆起那个禅那，那喜悦心呢是进入禅那或者进入观禅或者从禅定出来之后所相应的喜。好，那这是精进道论的文。好，先跳过好了，跳过。就是说精进道论对这几项呢有他自己的解释，或有些有跟观来解释。好，那我跳过这一部分，然后有一个表，刚才那个表很重要啊，这个也是蛮有创发性的一个就是在各位的第14页，总共有2个表，那这个第14页。好，你看如果我们比较这前12项的话，有没有看到表的第一个就是那个body feelings mind。好，那个身体感受跟这个 mind， 第一个呢是 body 里面呢，也就是第一个4法呢有长息 long breath 短息，然后全身，然后这个极止那个身形。好，第一个跟感受相关的就是喜啦、乐啦、心行啦，还有那个止息心行。第3个呢跟 mind 心有关系的是，也就是第三个3法，第3种3法就是。心啊，觉知心，然后呢，让心喜悦，让心等持，然后最后呢，让心解脱。好，你把这个排起来呢，每一个的第一项呢都很有意思。他认为，比如说所有的第一项呢，对身体而言呢，常喜，或者对感受而言呢，这个喜，或者对心而言呢，所谓的心，都是比较容易看到、发现，比较粗的。所有的第2项呢，对身体而言呢，比较短的呼吸呢是比较越来越微细。那这个 happiness 乐呢，对感受来讲呢是越来越比较细。那 mind 呢，就是这个喜悦心、令心喜悦呢是越来越细啊。所以这样子放下来呢，第3项呢，全身指的是更加细腻的感觉才有可能了解。那 mental activity 就是这个心情呢又更细腻。在心来讲呢，专注心又更支持，又更细腻啊。最后这个第4项呢，就是对身体来讲呢，你已经要逐渐的放弃对你身体的活动，让它停下来，而且呢，不止停下来，你再次把它放弃了，以便呢开放，以便去接受新的经验啊，就是要再提升的，要再提升经验。那对感受来讲也是一样，你放弃掉所有的新的活动，那慢慢让它静止下来，而且让它放下，然后开放，里面有新的经验，然后进入无色界禅。啊，对心来讲也是一样，最后是心的解脱。所以他是这样子来看这个事情。好，那最后这个是这个第4种4法。那第4种4法对他来讲，第4种4法呢有非常多，不管巴利的还是这个汉译的，还有梵文的等等的，有各种各样的解释，好，那时间应该是差不多了。好，那我这边就是我完全来不及这个去跟我大概讲一下，就是这在第4种4法呢有4个，一个是随观无常，这 OK， 好，这个是观的开始，大家都同意这是观禅的开始。第2呢就是随观离灭舍离，所以已经有不同的词汇了。问题说这些词汇它们是同义词吗？就在修观禅的同义词，还是修观禅的不同阶段？他提出这样的问题。那就巴利的最后一项呢？最后一项大部分都会说，如果是观的话，先观无常，那后面到观舍离之后就已经是那个阿罗汉。那也就是说，如果是这样的话，这个观舍离表示说舍弃所有的执着，也就是阿罗汉。但是也可能是同义词啊？为什么呢？因为在口传的文献呢，也会出现类似的一个情况，就是那个所谓的 waxing syllables principle， 就是 waxing 音节。如果你看这个我们的第13页，对不起， 看我们的第15页，第15页角注第40。If you could go to the page 15 that refers to the footnote 40. Because Professor Carson mentioned the waxing the syllabus principle. 你看到那个 anicca anubhasi、viraga anubhasi、nirodha anubhasi， 这个都3个音节。可是最后一个呢，这个舍离的是很长 ，patisagga anubhasi。所以所谓的 waxing 那个音节原则就是说，短的在先，长的会放在后面。所以它是因为口传的方便啊，所以它是 anicca、viraga、nirodha、patisagga。长的音节放在后面，叫做 waxing 音节原则。这在巴利经里经常出现。所以如果是只是为了口传的音节的话，表示它顺序不重要，也许他们是很类似。不过它这个只是没有特别去推论，它只是说是不是有这种可能性。好，那但是重点就是这个，不管你怎么解释这个离无常没有问题，那离啊灭啊舍离哦，各种各样的这个注释书啦、论述啊都有不同的解释。有人把离看成是这个入流，就是出国，那这样的话就开始是见道。因此呢，从第3项开始呢，灭啊就进入这个修道。第4项当然就是无学道，就是那个阿罗汉。好，但是他说这个如果是这样子说的话呢，经典上有记载说佛陀呢用3个月来修16行，并且建议有学跟阿罗汉也来修。那这样的话，你要怎么去调和这2种说法呢？如果那个已经是修完的话，有学要怎么去修呢？好，那最后就是我看一下，直接跳到他的结论好了。好，前12项呢，看起来因为那个南北传的经典都有记载，所以可能是蛮初步跟原始的，很简单的。好，那以他的教授解释就是说，第一个释法就是先完成4禅趋向禅那，第2个释法呢就是让你去修到这个无色定，第3种呢就开始观禅的开始。好，那只是其中一个争议的地方，就是说第一组的第4法就是最后那个止息身行哈，有些地方有些部派认为不是安般念，因为它呼吸已经停止了。那这样的话就是这里有争议不是有不同的说法，那其他的都很类似，但是这是前12项哦，就是前面3个释法哦，前面3组的释法，第4组的释法呢就有各种不同的说法，那因为上座部跟有部呢都有它有自己的一个说明，但是基本上他们有时候会把它认为说最后释法呢是导向出果，或者导向4种这个道智，或者导向最后的阿罗汉的果智，有各种各样的不同的说明。好，那我就先做这样子的一个摘要的一个解释。
谢谢那个 Professor Cousins，Thank you for providing such a wonderful paper， 还有岳老师精彩的表述。然后我自己在看这一篇的时候，也是听这一篇的时候也是很激动，因为那个《释禅波罗蜜次第法门》里面，智者大师有提到，在他那个时代，就是把16特胜，他在释禅里面叫做16特胜，跟4念处配的，在他那个时代就有好几家，然后各有各的不同的配法，但是也都个别有说出原因，所以我们听这一场会觉得特别的激荡这样子。那么这一场我们就先到这边，然后再请大家先休息，然后4点钟准时回来，我们开始请波尔达长者这个板杯来回应。